making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
What the f*** is this?
Well, hello kiddies. This is Victor, your friendly neighborhood watchman, here with you on this Friday, the 28th of June, hours after the televised presidential debate on the fake news network CNN. Although I will admit, the moderators were a lot more fair than I thought I would have given them credit for. Let's not get it twisted. They both are suffering from TDS and despise Trump. They were much more fair, ironically, than Chris Wallace was back in 2020 while he was still at Fox News. And it was actually 2 against 1, that being Chris Wallace and Joe Biden against Trump. That's the debate where Biden infamously lied to the American people when he said that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation.
President Trump,
and I have to respond to that.
Please,
because look,
very quickly.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
That's exactly what.
Is this
that's
where you're
exactly
going?
what.
This is
going.
where he's going. The laptop is Russia,
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
You
okay?
have to be kidding. Here we
Mr.
go
President?
again with Russia.
But I digress. And as you saw in the opening clip taken from the debate, where Joe Biden had a moment, you would say, was brain locked. Just a few minutes into the debate, Biden had that now viral scene where he loses his train of thought and fumbles about. Former President Trump is just like looking at him and he's having one of these moments. I just have to sit back, stay silent, and let the moment speak for itself. A picture or video, in this case, is worth 8,000 words. It was like watching a train wreck, to be honest. This happened so soon into the debate. You were like, when is the next boxcar going to derail? So folks, without further ado, I have this article from the New York Post. I'd be interested in reading, not having read any news articles after the debate, although I have seen tweets, such as this one here from the Border Patrol, who replied quickly while the debate was still ongoing after Joe Biden falsely claimed that the Border Patrol Union, had endorsed him.
We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position.
That's the wrong number.
We had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president. Brandon, just speak to him. But
as you can see here with your own eyes, the Twitter account from the Border Patrol Union, right there, said on their now pinned tweet, to be clear, we never have and never will endorse corrupt, senile Biden. You cannot get any more clear than that. They also said 6 hours earlier that Biden claimed this morning that congressional Republicans have blocked his hiring of thousands of Border Patrol agents. Well, that was a lie too. In reality, Republicans have actually funded more agents in recent appropriation bills in spite of Biden, not because of him. So that's coming directly from the union. We wish Donald Trump luck tonight in the debate and hope he has enough time to point out all of the ways Biden's border policies have failed. I'm sure Donald appreciated the sentiments, but he sure enough didn't need it. Ain't that right, Jimmy? But now, without further ado, Let's jump into this article from the New York Post with the byline by Stephen Nelson with the heading, Biden's candidacy in doubt after week frozen debate performance against Trump leaves Dems in aggressive panic. President Biden repeatedly froze and misspoke during his first, and possibly only, debate against former President Donald Trump Thursday night, prompting anguish and alarm in the Democrat Party. Fewer than 4 months before the general election. Well, they couldn't hide it anymore. It could fool some people some of the time, etc., etc. In what will be the most replayed political moment of the night, the week, the month, and maybe the year, the 81-year-old incumbent lost his train of thought for about 9 seconds, looking down at his lectern before popping up again to say that he, quote, finally beat Medicare, end quote. Yeah. And Trump quickly replied, yeah, he beat it to death.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
Biden, who would be 86 if he finishes a second term in January 2029, did not help his cause by speaking in a soft, scratchy voice that anonymous aides attributed to a cold he apparently picked up during his 7 days out of the public eye prepping for the Atlanta Forum. If this is how Biden performed after 7 days, can you imagine how much worse he would have done in less time? Come on, let's be honest here. If he had a cold, they would have mentioned it a long time before the debate, so as to prepare the people why his voice would be sounding like it did. In my opinion, when I first heard him speak, I attributed his hoarse voice to over-prepping for this debate for a whole week. For the good that did him. I mean, you see right here about Joe Biden. Joe's wife leads him off stage after the debate was over. Too bad the video quality is poor. But there she is, leading him down the steps. I mean, come on. Does that look like a healthy man to you?
Hell no!
Hell no, it don't. And you know it.
And you know this, man!
We just witnessed the end of Joe Biden's presidency. I hope so. That's another headline. Biden ain't all there. He ain't wrapped too tight. No, he is not. Just sad. Fred mumbles, stumbles, freezes in train wreck debate versus Trump. You know those Democrats are beside themselves, no matter how they try and spin this. The president began to lose his grip as he said he was committed to, quote, making sure we make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we had to do with, end quote, before sputtering to a halt. Look, we finally beat Medicare, concluded Biden as he looked up again after an agonizing wait, and who Tapper, one of the moderators from CNN, quickly jumped in to save Joe Biden. Saved by the bell. To use a boxing metaphor, not for the last time, the 78-year-old Trump seized upon the gaffe immediately, like a shark on a piece of withered beef jerky, saying of his rival, quote, well, he's right, he did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people who are coming in, they're putting them on Medicare, end quote. Which I mentioned Trump said at the start of the video. The debate was widely seen as a make-or-break moment for Biden amid voter concern about his mental fitness, concerns that grew more acute Thursday night. Abysmal, one Democrat source told the Post. If I knew nothing about Donald Trump before that debate and judged him solely on that performance, I'd vote for him. Another well-placed Democrat source said it was TBD, to be determined, whether Biden was still going to be the party's nominee, with 7.5 weeks to go before the Democratic National Convention. Well, they figure he won 81 million votes last election.
Whatever.
He could win twice that this time if they just stuffed the ballot even harder.
Come on, man.
Biden misspoke. He saved Medicare, but now someone needs to save Biden, the source quipped. He saved Medicare for who? Say that for the illegal aliens, you mean? Cut the bullshit with this made up, undocumented migrants. Give me a break. Who are you? Points Biden to his wife. I'm your sister, she says.
Daddy, chill.
A third Democratic insider should be a third Democrat insider. When asked to respond to Biden's Medicare comment, offered no defense, instead saying simply, I don't know what the old bastard meant. Biden stumbled repeatedly, saying that the U.S. economy had created 15,000 jobs on his watch, that there were 1,000 trillionaires in America, and that his son Bo died in Iraq, rather than, as actually happened, in his hospital bed at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. In another instance of Biden seeming to lose himself, the president appeared to suggest he would impose a total ban on illegal immigration across the U.S.-Mexico border, despite 3 years of record annual unlawful crossings since he terminated Trump's hardline policies, such as forcing asylum seekers to await decisions while remaining in Mexico. And all these people that have been killed and raped by illegal aliens should still be alive and would still be alive had Trump still been president. Biden has, in recent months, released most illegal border crossers into the U.S. to await the outcome of a badly backlogged asylum process, but said he would, quote, continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more border patrol and more asylum officers, end quote. I like to see these 18.96% that voted yes. No doubt, TDS, partisan Democrat, window lickers, all.
Daddy, chill.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence, Trump responded. And I don't think he knows what he said either. End quote. That was a good one, in my opinion.
He ain't lying.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
At another point, Biden claimed the Border Patrol endorsed me, prompting the Border Patrol's union to snap back on X. As I mentioned earlier in the video, Biden compounded his unsteady performance by making an apparent sexual joke to a post-debate gathering of supporters. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to go home with you, said Biden, who spoke for fewer than 30 seconds at Atlanta's Hyatt Regency Hotel, before handing the mic to a DJ and heading off stage. I'm afraid it was all too much to bear for former New York State Senator Alessandra Biaggi, a Democrat who tweeted once the debate was over, President Biden is a good, honorable man.
Who'd you talking about?
He has much to be proud of, taking millions of dollars from China, Ukraine, and oligarchs from Moscow, raising disturbed children, being a pervert, and still managing to keep his career as a politician. Only in America. But anyway, this fool says he's a good, honorable man who has much to be proud of. It's time to step aside and call off this run. That's the only thing she said that's worth agreeing with.
You got that right.
It started minutes into debate and it continues right now, he added. Other Democrats decided to brief anonymously with CNN reporter John King opening the network's post-debate coverage by describing a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democrat Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now, he added. It involves party strategists. It involves elected officials. It involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was abysmal, which they think will hurt other people down the party ticket. They remind the citizens who've been hurt and killed by his policies. Sort of about Democratic politicians and their grip on their jobs, i.e. power. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Biden's most likely replacement on a Democrat ticket, Vice President Kamala, oh brother, 2 peas in a pod, boy. Vice President Kamala Harris.
It comes in the morning.
No! God, please, no! No!
So my point is,
No!
Played the good soldier, telling CNN's Anderson Cooper that her boss had a, quote, slow start. But it was a strong finish, because I eat me spinach.
Is there any spinach in the house?
People can debate on style points, she added when pressed by Cooper. I got the point that you're making about a 1.5 hour debate tonight. I'm talking about 3.5 years of underperformance and work that has been historically awful.
You got that right.
Republicans responded to Biden with both pity and ridicule. He's not equipped to be president, Trump said. You know it, and I know it. As a geriatric nurse practitioner who cared for so many older adults with cognitive impairment, this is heartbreaking to watch, tweeted Representative Jen Kiggins of Virginia. As we can see from her Twitter page, an ABC poll in February found that an overwhelming 86% of prospective voters believe Biden, who is trailing Trump in most swing state surveys, is too old for another term. A Siena College New York Times poll in March found that 73% of registered voters thought Biden was too old. The debate did touch on issues that voters consistently rank as their top concerns, including inflation and the economy, abortion rights, immigration, and the state of American democracy. Biden attempted to blame inflation on Trump. Yeah, nice try there, Joe. By saying the ex-president caused it by his tremendous malfeasance in the way he handled the pandemic, with Trump in turn saying Biden inherited almost no inflation and it stayed that way for 14 months, and then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing. On the issue of abortion, Trump said he approved of the Supreme Court's recent decision to allow the sale of medication abortion nationwide, and that states with restrictions should allow exceptions for rape, incest, and the lives of mothers. But Biden pounced. I'm sorry, I can't associate the action verb pounce with a frail, weak, cognitively challenged Joe Biden.
Oh, that's cool.
Biden responded when Trump claimed that the Supreme Court's overturn of Roe v. Wade in 2022 was a great thing. It's what the majority of objective legal scholars thought should be in the hands of the individual states and not the government. There was no right to abortion under the Constitution. Even Ginsburg, the late liberal Supreme Court jurist, thought it would one day be overturned. It's been a terrible thing what you've done, Biden said in reference to Trump's nomination of 3 conservative court justices who voted to overturn Roe. This is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different role. But Trump jumped on that by saying, you supported late-term abortion, even after-birth infanticide, as a former Democrat Virginia governor infamously alluded to. Biden, at another point, asked Trump by noting his May 30th conviction in New York on 34 counts of falsifying business records to conceal hush money payments to former porn star Stormy Daniels. But when the president referred to his predecessor as a convicted felon, Trump was ready, with the retort that Biden's son Hunter, 54, was convicted June 11th of federal gun crimes and awaits a second trial in Los Angeles over $1.4 billion in alleged tax fraud from foreign relationships in which he often involved his then vice president father, smoking Joe Biden. Quote, he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe can be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things, end quote, the former president said, noting that Biden had falsely denied the authenticity of files from Hunter's laptop exposed by the Post that linked him to dealings in China and Ukraine. Biden gets paid by China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China, Trump said. The challenger pressed home his advantage in his closing statement, mocking Biden as an ineffective complainer. Quote, he talks about all the stuff, but he didn't do it for 3.5 years, Trump said. We're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president. And they don't respect you throughout the world, the former president concluded. We're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again. And folks, as we are wont to do on my videos, when we have the opportunity on some of these articles to go over some reader comments, as I quickly skip over all these damn ads. First up, from Southern Belle, we have, Trump really didn't need to do much tonight. For most of the debate, he just needed to stick to the facts and give a little extra rope for Biden. I agree totally. If Biden wasn't the sitting president, I would find this immensely hilarious. Instead, I'm concerned for the next 4 months, as am I, Southern Belle. Agree. Addison replies, as soon as the debate ended, I wanted to see what the enemy had to say. So I turned on CNN, and right out of the gate, all the hosts said Trump won, and Biden needs to be replaced. The same with MSNBC. Newsom, the California governor, most likely would jump in, which was always the Dems' plan. Sotheby also replies, the pundits were correct with their prediction that Biden will attack Trump. Biden certainly couldn't tout his accomplishments simply because there weren't any. So true. You get a like, and you get a like, although I don't know if Newsom is guaranteed to replace Joe Biden. George DM comments, we have been lied to by Democrats about the mental health of Biden and aided by a media that aided in his cover-up. How sad that he is still in office, incapable of carrying out the leadership duties of the office of the President of the United States of America. Someone should begin the process of invoking the 25th Amendment, as we are in danger as citizens of our country. Well, George, don't hold your breath, but I agree with you about the danger to our citizens. We've seen that already, unfortunately. Too many families have lived through needlessly tragic experiences with the loss of loved ones. Independent Mind replied, Biden was never president. They're trotting him out as incompetent because he serves as a fitting scapegoat for the malevolent actions of the deep state. This is why the CIA and FBI denied the Hunter laptop, and every day we are lied to that the president is the seat of power in the United States. The president at most, barring injury, death, or impeachment, 2 terms, which is 8 years, and 1 term, which is 4. So at most 8 years, at the least 4. That's not enough to hold power completely. It's people behind the scenes, like those agencies and bureaucrats, which are not elected to their positions, and there's no term limit. That's the people you have to really fear. They answer to no one. Who watches the Watchmen, after all? G. Monet replies, agreed, bring on President Kamala Harris. Yeah, that's the ticket.
Hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
Next comment is from BR, who says the Republicans' talking points should be, from now until November, is that the Democrats and the media have been lying to all Americans for 4 years about Biden's competency, to both Democrats and Republicans, and especially independents, focus on their corruption in just this area alone to capture the House and Senate. Because if Biden doesn't step down or is replaced, the presidential election is over. Independent Mind chimes in again with, well, frankly, the apparatus of the Democratic Party is a Trojan horse for the globalist elite. It doesn't actually exist as a political reality. Classical liberalism died with JFK. You might be right. Well, folks, we could go on, but we've reached the end of this video, and when I take no pleasure, despite it being someone who I truly feel is corrupt, speaking of Joe Biden, and someone suffering from a cognitive disorder, be it Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia. I'm pretty sure most of us has had at least a family member, a relative that has been affected by these diseases. That said, he needs to be out of politics for good. The people behind him who enabled this ought to be ashamed of themselves. But they're not. if you watch the debates and you agree that Joe Biden shouldn't run for the office of the President of the United States, and agree with some of the reader comments and my take on this article, then give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already and help the channel out. And if you have something to share, you're welcome to comment below and hit that notification bell so you'll be forewarned when I'm ready to drop another video. And as always, stay safe and I bid you peace.
Joe, you did such a great job.
What?
You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Why?
By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed me, endorsed my position.
I'm strong to the finish, as I eat me spinach. I Popeye the Sailor Man.